Hello, and welcome to episode 7 of Decoding Helix. I'm your host, Sabin, and in today's podcast, what we're actually going to be discussing is what exactly are your goals, or what should they be for your business. So, without further ado, let's just get right into it. So, the topic of goals. This is a varied one, I guess. It's different for everyone that gets into business for themselves. And, some people have grand dreams of raising multi-million-dollar businesses off the ground as quickly as they possibly can. Other people think that it takes a long time to sort of build up to that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, to be honest, it's all up to you. It's up to how much capital you have backing you. It's up to the kind of product that you have or service and how much demand you can create for it. Such as in the case of what Apple have done in the past, and I'm sure everybody's familiar with that story. But it's all absolutely up to you. So basically, I want to discuss what it was like for me setting up my goals for my company, and hopefully that will give you a little bit of or a few ideas and some insight into how you might be able to sort of go ahead and map that out for yourselves. So. Yeah, I mean, look, for my goals, it was kind of strange. I had very, very modest goals when I started out, and one of the things that I really wanted to do was break away from, the rat race, the 9 to 5, and just kind of start my own thing and have that happen for myself, and not have to jump through hoops that somebody else had set up. And so that's pretty much one of the biggest drivers that has led me to where I am right now. That hasn't been the only thing. The other thing that I thought was, as I kept mulling around with ideas that I had for businesses that I had started and had to pretty much let go, or even with the business that I have now, basically what I wanted was for me to stop relying on someone else to tell me how much I'm worth. I don't know if that resonates with anybody else, but with me, that's another big sort of sticking point, because up until, just probably a couple of years ago, I sort of understood that in the back of my mind, like, hey, hang on, why is someone else telling me how much I am worth? And how much they're going to pay me an hour. Meanwhile, here I am really kind of giving everything that I have, like, of my body physically, like, whether it was lifting or doing all these, normal everyday sort of jobs that most of us hold on to. And also, like if it was more like an office-based role that I had to really think about what I did. So again, it was like, putting that effort and that time and that energy into figuring out all these issues and problems that would just come up in the normal workings of a corporation. And I got to a point where it would just it was a little bit disheartening, because that's all there was. You would I'd get up every day, go to my job, do it, and get exhausted through the day, and then basically at the end of the week I'd get this paycheck like most of us end up getting. And there was just one point where I thought, you know what, why is someone else dictating how much this is worth? I mean, this is probably only worth so much to them, but I've got to, I always try and keep a level head. So I really had to sit down and think about it. Well, they got a multi-million-dollar or multi-billion-dollar corporation in some cases to uphold. They've got so many other employees here in Australia, or, in other countries of the world, that they need to sort of maintain and keep happy as well. So it's not so much that, like, they want to be crazy and mean and all that kind of stuff and not pay you as much as you're actually worth, but you have to understand that that's just not the way that things are structured. So that's one of the things that I really wanted to break away from was, that whole someone else telling me how much I'm worth. So while I understood why I was only getting so much an hour, or why my salary packet was only, as much money as it was through some of those years. I just really kind of had to take a step back and go, well, hang on. If I start my own business, that would also mean that I would have to pretty much work out how much I'm worth, how much my time is worth, how much my energy is worth, and how much of myself I invest in what I'm about to give my clients and what it's sort of worth to them as well, not just to me. You have to, when you sort of start pricing your services or your products, you have to understand that you got to look at it from the consumer's point of view as well. I mean, it might be worth a ton of money to you because you've spent so much energy and time into putting this thing together. But, to the average consumer, it's like, well, hang on, I can't afford what you're asking for this product. I really need it and it would help change my life, but I can't see myself spending that much money right now. So you do have to keep that kind of thing in mind. But basically, what are those kinds of things that you can think about for yourself that are driving you, or if you've got an idea that you haven't quite, thought up of all the framework for, so you haven't started anything. Why is it that you want to go into that industry that you want to go into that field? Why do you want to start your business? So you need to make sure that you know these kinds of things for yourself. Because at the beginning, when I started it, I'll be honest with you, I was completely sort of wide-eyed. I thought, yeah, I've got something great that I can offer people, but it should be really cool because they're gonna understand that they do need this, and it's all gonna be pretty quick. As far as getting customers and all that, and it isn't. It never is, and I don't know why I was under that impression. Maybe it's just my personality. I kind of get hyped up in my own mind, and I start doing things, and then I find out that they're a little bit harder than I would have imagined. So I really need to kind of take a step back and go, well, okay, maybe I need to rethink this, or maybe I need to rework how I'm doing things, because if I keep going at this pace, I'm going to eventually burn out, and that's not going to be good for me or anyone around me. But yeah, basically those are some of the considerations that you're going to need to keep in mind, because it can get very difficult, and it can get very very heavy on just your own person, very heavy just sitting on your shoulders. And you're going to have to wrestle with all of that, and you're going to have to try and make it work. So think about why it is that you want to get into business, and why it is you want to start something. I mean, what are you gonna offer to anybody? And that's what you have to keep in mind, I guess. First of all, I recently was listening to another podcast, which was really cool. I forget which one exactly it was, because I listened to a few. But basically, someone said, look, the way that I worked out my business was I looked at if there was a need in the market for what I thought I could offer. And if there was a need, then, I could offer a solution for that need, and that would be my business. And I thought that was really cool. I mean, that was really insightful. And without even knowing it, that's pretty much what I did with this business that I have right now. However, it's not just because there's a need in the market doesn't mean that there's people willing to throw cash at you unless you can market yourself really well. So for that, you have to remember you're going to need some serious capital behind you to be able to market yourself and to be able to set yourself up as, as an authority, and have people coming to you because, okay, yeah, you've got the solution. So, that's absolutely something to keep in mind. Now, it's absolutely up to you how you go about it. I think, just in the previous episode, actually, I said it's good to surround yourself with people that you can bounce ideas off of. And this is definitely one of those topics that you want to, grab hold of somebody that you trust. And hopefully it's somebody that's already doing their own business or has their own business and has had for years, and they're having success with it. And maybe bounce those ideas off of them and have this kind of discussion with them, and really and honestly ask them, and make sure you're comfortable in doing this, because you might not like the answer, but just ask them, like, what do you believe that what I have to offer is something that a business owner like yourself would actually be interested in buying as a product or service? Will it help you? Will it? Do you believe it will help anybody else in, that's in business for themselves. Because otherwise, what you're doing is pretty much adding to the noise. And you have to remember that this is already a market that is pretty much flooded with anything we could possibly want. There's only very few products that are kind of out of everybody's reach. But for the most part, if you want something, you can work towards it, and eventually you're going to be able to get it. But anyway, look, it's one of those things that was kind of in the back of my mind, and I thought I should share it with you guys, because I don't know if that's kind of the step that you're stuck on right now. Is do I actually have something to offer? Why am I starting my business in the first place? And if it is, then absolutely have a think about it, but don't get stuck on just the thinking stage. Don't let that trip you up too much. As I said before, get some advice, and maybe you're going to need to rework your idea a little bit to be able to get a little bit more, a little bit of a clearer understanding of the direction you actually need to go in. And that's fine. That's absolutely fine. I mean, I can't even tell you how many different iterations I went through. And you're going to find that you're going to have one start. Then, you start your business, you got your name, you got your logo, you got, your business cards and all the other stuff set up. And then you find that, maybe I need to do this other thing as well. So maybe it's not just a product that I have to offer, but then I have to offer the support that goes along with that product. So you have to really kind of think outside the box. It's not just one thing. It might branch out for you very quickly. And that's when you need to realize that, yeah, perhaps you need help starting this up. Maybe there's somebody that can actually help you out. In my case, I guess it's a little bit different because I don't really have people that are kind of that I know that are in this industry. And I'm hoping later on to reach out to people that have kind of already paved the way and know what they're doing. And so what I do at the moment, just to give myself a few ideas, and maybe this is going to work for you as well, but one thing I touched on in the last episode was, start reading some books. If you're not good at reading, that's fine. Get some audiobooks and get stuck into them. They're definitely going to help you out. So you're absolutely going to gain some knowledge that you may not have had beforehand. The other thing you can do is, start Googling articles. Like, what have people in the industry you're hoping to get into, what have they done? How did they start out? What are some of the situations that they found themselves in at the beginning that they've had to work themselves out of? So those are the kinds of things that you're going to need to sort of do. And again, go to Google the topic of your business and see what comes up and learn as much as you can. So one of the biggest things that I did when I started my business was research, and I still do that every chance that I get. I'm always, trying to look for different articles, new articles, or some stuff that I might have missed before from people that are either big names or people that are coming up in the business world, and try to learn from them, because that's going to be one of the biggest indicators as to whether you're in the right direction or not, whether you need to rework your idea or rethink some of the concepts inside of your idea. So look, there's a ton of things that you can do. You've got like learning tools like YouTube, you got learning tools like Google, and these are all free. And I know that it sounds stupid, but at the beginning, when you don't have any money backing you, there's no better way to sort of go. So even think about that, if you've got a product that you're gonna roll out and you've got yourself enough money to be able to make a prototype and it's working, why don't you, go onto YouTube and start being that person that actually does that kind of thing and shows people, look, this is what I have, this is how it works, this is how it can change your life. And if it's good quality content, then chances are people are going to sit up and take notice. So, it might be that your business is going to start out one way, but basically it might kind of, mutate into something different. So you never know about these kinds of things until you start out and until you start really thinking outside your own comfort zone. And that is going to absolutely change your mind on how things are actually going and in what direction you might need to take things. So Those are just a few things that I thought I should share with you today, and hopefully you found this interesting. Now, this is only going to be a short one today because, it's not really one of those topics that I can drone on and on about, and I hope that I haven't done that in the past. But if I have, you'll have to forgive me. This is the first time I've ever kind of, attempted to do a podcast and give information out to people. So I'm only going to get better. But for now, it is what it is, I guess. So I hope you guys can bear with me. But look, I'm hoping that today's information has helped you. I hope that it's helped shed some light on some of the things you can do to help yourself along. And, that's pretty much all that I had on the subject for now. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, by all means, feel free to leave those in the comments. You can always leave those in the comments. If you like what you hear, please leave a rating. Let me know what you guys think about the show. Let me know if there's stuff that you're really interested in learning about. And I'm always reading comments. I'm more than happy to sort of accommodate those kinds of things, because if there's stuff that I haven't touched on that you guys are really interested in finding out about, then I'm more than happy to share, as long as it's about, my business. That's fine. I don't really, anyway. All right, I'll leave you guys with that, and I hope to see you on the next episode. If you have subscribed already, thank you so much for coming back and listening to this podcast. If you haven't subscribed already, could I ask that you just please hit that subscribe button? We've always got new content coming out, and we're hoping that what it's going to do for you is help you out in that area and that situation that you might be stuck in. So, if you're finding that that's where you're at with your business or with your startup at the moment, by all means, just follow us, and, hopefully we can help each other along. So that'd be great. So I just want to thank you in advance for doing that. All right. So for now, I'm going to sign off, but I'm hoping to see you guys next time. And until then, have a good one.